Vito Scaletta, a name that sends shivers down the spine of many. A moniker synonymous with dark alley dealings and a specter of fear in the underworld. Born not into a family of wealth, but into a life embedded in crime, Vito's story reads like a film noir. It is a tale that dances in the dim lights of violence, pirouettes on the edge of betrayal, and treads heavily on the path towards redemption. Vito began his life on the unrelenting, cold streets of Empire Bay, a city that never slept, always thrumming with a low hum of danger. It's a city where dreams are made or shattered, a place that makes or breaks you. Starting with nothing, his life began in the shadows, where he rose from being an overlooked street urchin to a feared mobster, striking terror into the heart of the city. His rise wasn't spontaneous, it was a calculated journey, etched with dangerous liaisons and deadly encounters. As a young boy, Vito was a stranger to privilege and comfort. Poverty was his bitter companion, a stark reminder of his lot in life. The harsh realities of his existence were constantly gnawing at him, teaching him lessons no child should learn. With limited opportunities presenting themselves, he embraced a life of crime as a last resort, a desperate means for survival. Vito's path was never intended to be righteous. It was the path of the underdog, the path of the forgotten, the path that he was forced to take. However, it wasn't long before Vito's actions began echoing in the underworld. He started drawing the attention of those who mattered, those who could make a difference in his life, for better or worse. His name was whispered in the terrifying corners of Empire Bay, stirring fear in the hearts of who dared cross his path. His notoriety was silent but potent, an invisible force growing in power and influence. A force that, though unintentional, was about to change his life irrevocably. But it wasn't long before Vito caught the attention of the wrong people. Joining the Italian Mafia, Vito rapidly ascended the hierarchy, securing a unique position as a trusted enforcer for the formidable Falcone crime family. His journey was not a swift one, but a gradual, deliberate ascension that demanded respect from every corner. The underworld was an intricate labyrinth of power, danger, and precarious alliances, and navigating it called for more than just brute force. It required cunning, tenacity, and an innate understanding of the dark undercurrents that drove the Mafia's operations. Vito, with his ice-cold gaze and unyielding resolve, had an uncanny ability to decipher these unspoken rules and secrets. He was not just a man who indulged in violence, but a silent observer, a patient predator, who knew when to strike and when to retreat into the shadows. His reputation was built on a silent vow of loyalty to the family, and a ruthless determination that left a trail of respect and fear in his wake. His ruthless nature was a terrifying spectacle to witness. He was a man of few words, but his actions spoke volumes about the kind of man he was. Merciless, unyielding, and insatiably ambitious, Vito was both feared and respected in the treacherous world of the Mafia. His reputation echoed through the dark alleyways and hidden speakeasies of the city, casting a formidable shadow that kept his adversaries at bay. His unwavering loyalty to the Falcone crime family wasn't born out of blind servitude, but a calculated decision to align himself with the most powerful force in the city. He was not a pawn in the grand scheme of the Mafia, but a key player, a force to be reckoned with, driving the wheels of this underworld empire with calculated precision and unapologetic brutality. His influence was a potent mix of fear and respect, a deadly combination that made him an indispensable asset to the Falcone crime family. With his ruthless nature and unwavering loyalty, Vito became a force to be reckoned with. But as Vito's power grew, so did the enemies that sought to bring him down. At first, Vito was a lone wolf, a petty criminal trying to eke out a living in a world that had cast him aside. Yet, his drive and ambition quickly turned him into a force to be reckoned with. As his influence spread, eyes turned towards him. Not just the eyes of those who admired him, but also those that feared him and sought to bring him down. In this intricate world of power, treachery was an all-too common currency. It became evident that Vito's rise wasn't going unnoticed, and that his success was drawing the wrong kind of attention. He found himself staring at the face of conflict, his path fraught with dangers that lurked in shadows and hidden behind smiles. The walls of his world were closing in, as if anticipating a siege. Betrayal, like an unwelcome guest, lurked around every corner. Vito felt as though he was walking on a tightrope, with a blindfold on. The people he had once considered friends were now morphing into potential traitors. Trust, a luxury he could no longer afford, was replaced with caution. Each laugh masked a potential threat, each handshake a potential knife. Caught in a web of deceit and treachery, he saw his world change. The allies he had carefully gathered began to show their true colors. Alliances, once written in stone, began to crumble. Trust was broken, friendships shattered. He was trapped labyrinth of lies, where each turned corner revealed a new betrayal. It was a harsh reminder of the transient nature of power and loyalty. As he navigated the murky waters of treachery, he was forced to confront the reality of his situation. He was not just fighting for his power, but for his survival. Friends had turned into foes, alliances were shattered, his world was changing, and he needed to adapt if he hoped to survive. However, it was during his darkest moments that Vito found a glimmer of hope, a shimmering beacon of opportunity that promised a brighter future. As he grappled with the desolation that had become his life, he realized that the potential for change was always within him. It was a stubborn flame that, despite the bitter winds of his tumultuous past, refused to extinguish. Vito was a hardened man, marked by a life of crime and brutality. His heart was seemingly encased in stone and his soul bore the scars of countless transgressions. The shadows of his past actions stretched out behind him, a chilling testament to his wayward journey. But even amidst the darkness, an ember of optimism was kindled within him. A resolution formed in his heart as he pledged to himself he would defy the odds and escape the chokehold that his past had over him. He saw a chance at redemption, a turning point that carried the promise of a life free from the chains of crime. A life filled with peace, free from the relentless chase and the haunting echoes of gunfire. The allure of this chance was so powerful, it consumed his every thought. It breathed life into his weary heart and ignited within him a determination he had never felt before. Determined to leave his criminal past behind, Vito embarked on a path fraught with danger. With each step he took towards freedom, he was met with formidable obstacles. His resolve was tested time and time again. He found himself in the heart of chaos, danger lurking at every corner. Yet he pressed on, his eyes set on the horizon of change. Vito's course was marked with blood and carnage as he made a daring escape from the clutches of Empire Bay, leaving behind a trail of bloodshed and destruction. His once dark past was now a fading memory, and he was moving towards a future that held promise and hope. But can a man truly escape his past? This is the question that looms over Vito, a man burdened by the heavy chains of his history. As he steps into the world desiring a fresh start, he finds himself in constant combat with the memories that refuse to fade away. They're not merely memories, but specters of his past, phantoms that persistently haunt his present and threaten his future. A past painted with sins of varying magnitude, a past that echoes with the cries of the lives he ruthlessly crushed under his feet, a past that, like a ruthless predator, pursues him relentlessly. These are not just fleeting moments that have slipped into oblivion. Instead, they are living, breathing entities that lurk in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, to remind him of the man he once was. The past is like a mirror, reflecting not only who we were but also sometimes the future we are doomed to have. The sins he committed, the lives he destroyed, they all come back to haunt him. A criminal history like Vito Scaletta's is not easily forgotten. Born into poverty, Vito's life was a struggle from the start. A bright lad with a heart full of ambition, he was drawn into the underworld of crime to survive. Choices were made, some dire, some daring, each carving a path that would finally lead him to a life of infamy. The consequences were inevitable, but so was resilience of his spirit, weathering storms of betrayal and defeat, standing tall amidst the ruins. Vito Scaletta was no saint. His deeds ranged from heroic to heinous. Yet to some, he was a victim of circumstances, while others saw him as the epitome of villainy. Nevertheless, one thing is certain. Vito Scaletta's legacy will forever be etched in the annals of criminal history.